We're here with Steve, and we're concerned about red-ringed Xboxes, which has been quite the issue for Microsoft since the Xbox launched in 2005. Now, there's a little bit of history here. There was some hearsay that suggested that Microsoft knew about the issue before they'd actually released the product, but that year head start from being ahead of the Sony PlayStation, it was worth it to them to get into the hearts and minds of customers, even though there was going to be $1 billion boondoggle down the road to get all these consoles repaired. But you've got an Xbox, you love it, you're out of warranty. What do you do if your Xbox red ring? Because there's a couple things you can do. You can buy a new one. You can pay Microsoft $150 to maybe fix it, but you could be left in the same situation again. But with me to my left, I've got Steve, who's here. He's going to tell us that there is life after death when you've got an Xbox that's red ringing. So Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're seeing here and how common this issue is for you?
This problem is quite common, actually. I myself have seen dozens of these. I've actually lost count of how many I've actually fixed. Here's one where you can see the red ring of death. It's the 3 quadrants are red and 1 is blank, indicating that there's a hardware failure somewhere within the unit, but chances are it's just a similar problem where the processors actually separate from the motherboard so that the console can't power on. It gives you an error message.
Keep in mind, the things that we're going to show you today will break your warranty if you have one. We're just giving you an option just in case you're out of the warranty anyway and you want to get that Xbox working for cheaper than buying a new one. So that's what we're going to be looking at today.
Okay, so the first step would be to take the unit apart. So first we're going to unplug the power and the video cable.
So you remove the hard drive, remove the faceplate.
There's little tiny clips in here that you press. When you press them, it just releases. And it's over. To the front, there's 4 clips. Back comes off, and here's the inside metal case. Now here's the inside of the unit. This here is the CPU. Fans are back here. Here's the drive. This just slides out.
Wow.
And here's the GPU. The main problem is because this is underneath the drive, it doesn't really get proper cooling, so it gets a lot hotter than this one would. Just take the fans out now just to get them out of the way.
It's kind of crazy when you open it up and you see just how it's like a motherboard, a couple of heat sinks, and a drive, and that's all that's really in there.
It's just like a computer. Fans out, now you flip it back over. There's a bunch more screws that actually hold the motherboard in place. So this just comes off. That's where all the lights were. This is where the 4 quadrants were. Those 3 were lit up, that one was out. This just unclips the motherboard. Then this slides out. And here's the bottom. These are often called X clamps. Down. So here we just move it all around, try and get all that compound off. Okay, so now that all the old heatsink compound is removed, we'll go ahead and put some new stuff on. And you want to put a very, very thin layer. It's just a matter of unscrewing them. So now it's just a matter of trying to screw.
Do you need a hand? Do you need a second set of hands in here?
We might. This usually goes well. It's not complete, back to the way it was. Now to test it.
And do you have to put it all back together to test it, or you just get a couple of the components in it?
Just enough components to get it to turn on. Put that in, put the front button on. And there we are. It's back on and you have your screen.
So So there you have it. Now, like I said at the beginning, this is not something that we necessarily recommend because it does void your warranty. But if you are in a situation where you want to get a couple more hours of Call of Duty done and you don't want to leave your bedroom, this may be an option. Like I said, ask your parents or your significant other in case they want to use it later. But your Xbox may not be dead. It could just be in a suspended sequence and you may be able to bring it back. So thank you very much, Steve, for your time today.
No problem.
And the information. And with that, that's been a Level Grind special on the Red Ring of Death, or RROD.